Well, hello and welcome to another fantastic edition of the Llama Commerce Show. I'm your host, Brett Curry, and as always, we are here to demystify e-commerce into actionable bites. And I'm so excited about the show today. If you're watching the video, you notice that this looks different. This is not Kurt Theobald sitting next to me, the former co-host. And I got to say, I'm kind of glad. I talked to Kurt a little bit ago. He was talking smack like he always does. And so I knew, if he was on the show, he would be harassing me. Exactly. Yeah, you do. You're gonna have to be kind of witty and sarcastic and a little bit negative. So anyway, with me today, good friend of mine, Matt Price, who is the director of marketing and director of e-commerce for Tether Tug. And Tether Tug is this amazing, fun, innovative toy for dogs, which we're gonna explain in just a minute. And we'll try to give people a visual so those that are on the podcast can kind of understand what it looks like. You will have to go watch the video. You got to see this thing in action before you really know what's going on. So let's talk about Tether Tug, Matt. And first of all, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What is Tether Tug? So if you can give just a brief visual so people can start to picture this thing in their head, and then we'll get into kind of the story and talk about how this thing is going.
Sure. Well, Tether Tug, our tagline is that it's an interactive toy to keep dogs healthy, happy, and entertained. And really what it is, it's a pole that'll go in the backyard with a rope toy on the end. And it simulates tug of war with your dog. So the dog can play tug with himself where you don't rip out your shoulder every time. That's kind of the simple version.
Yeah, and so as I looked at it, and I think you even described it this way, it almost looks like a thick fishing pole. You stick in the ground, drive in the ground. It's got a rope hanging on the top of it with a ball. And then dogs latch onto that thing, tug on it, spin around in circles. Yeah, it's just fantastic.
Oh, it's crazy to see what they do with it. Some of them will pull and tug backwards. Some of them will spin in circles, but they just love to play tug, and the owner's not getting worn out. So they'll play for hours and hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I like playing fetch with my dog for about 2 minutes.
Yes.
So I know there are probably other dog owners that are the same way. And so, what's driving e-commerce now, a lot of it is really innovative, cool new products, and this definitely fits that category. So what we're going to do today is we're going to let you guys hear the story of Tether Tug, how it came to be, and then also what is Matt doing right now to push this thing along, because it's really taken off. I mean, this thing is really taken off. It's fantastic. The buzz on Facebook is huge, and the pet community is a very tight community. It's a very shareable product. People are just falling in love with it. So before we dive into specific e-commerce lessons, Matt, talk about how this product came to be and just kind of tell that story. I think it's fascinating.
Sure. Well, one of the people we work with, sons, came to us and said, hey, I've got this 3-legged dog named Lizzie, and she just outplays me every time. There's nothing we can do to get all of her energy out, and I'm a nurse.
I feel like there's a joke in there.
There's got to be somewhere. Walked into a bar.
Exactly.
But Lizzie would just play and play and play, and he was a nurse and couldn't play enough. So tried to figure out what can I do to let her play on her own. And so we started trying to get like a fishing pole with a rope on it, went to a horse whip, and just kept using these random things and couldn't get it to last, couldn't get it to hold up. Well, we developed
Thomas Edison would be proud of your trial and error.
We have failed a lot to get here.
Exactly.
And so we kept trying and trying, and he brought it to us saying, can you help me get this out to the market? So we started testing and testing and finally came up with what we've got now.
That's cool. So talk about, you were telling me this just before the show started, you guys scheduled the first photo shoot, which is just kind of gutsy.
Yeah.
First photo shoot with the product, and you'd never tested it before.
No, a dog had never tried it. So we walked out there. Yeah, we needed to get product shots for the website because we were going to throw them up there and put them in some retail places. And so we went out and said, hey, do you have a dog that might play with this? So we set it up and just kind of hoped. And
what type of dog was it?
So it was an Australian cattle dog. Border collie is what a lot of people are used to. A crazy amount of energy, used to being a hunting or working dog. So the amount of energy they have, they can never get enough of it gone.
Right.
And this dog just latched onto it and immediately went nuts.
So didn't have to
help
prompt,
it, no anything else. Just grabbed the rope, shot it back and forth, launched it, jumped into the air, and it was the greatest thing we've ever seen.
So dogs immediately get it.
Yes.
It's kind of like a stick or a ball.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I know what to do.
He knew what to do. Yeah.
I know what to do with
it was
this
amazing. Thing. Echo's one of our best friends now.
I bet. That's awesome. So Matt, talk about this, because I think this is fascinating. We have a variety of different merchants that listen. Some with big teams, some that are kind of medium or large size merchants, and then a lot of merchants that are more solopreneurs or startup. And so you guys are really growing, but you kind of wear many hats. So talk about your role. So you're marketing director, director of e-commerce, but what do you do for Tether Tug?
That's a great question. And especially when you're starting out, it was everything. So, yeah, it's any hat you needed to, whether that's starting
director of photography,
yes,
director
I did
of
a lot of
videos,
that. I am now the world's leader on FedEx Smart Post because shipping a 5-foot-long box is really difficult.
I could see
and
that.
Trying to do that inexpensively is terrible.
So you know FedEx
yes,
inside and out.
Yes, absolutely. They call me now if they have questions.
Is that right?
Because that's how much I've had to learn about how to ship
shipping
these things.
expert.
Yeah. So yeah, it's everything from setting up all these small systems when you're trying to scale a small business, and we bootstrapped completely. We sold 1 to buy 2, all the way through. Yep. So everything was new. Our first shipping system was the back end of PayPal. When you went into that and you had to click ship and go out.
Yeah.
So we've scaled quite a bit since then.
Yeah.
Everything is new.
Well,
we haven't been to this before. So
yeah,
it was, I'm kind of the director of, we don't know what to do, so go figure it out.
Figure it out. Exactly. Yeah. The director of I'll figure it out.
Yes.
So one of the things I thought was fascinating, so we're just talking about how dogs immediately get this. So the dog sees the Tether Tug set up, like, whoa, toy, I know what to do. But people, maybe not as much, right? Because I know you guys, you and your partners, you developed this, you thought, we are going to get this product into retail stores. It's going to fly off the shelf.
Absolutely.
We're going to fall in love with it. And as a lot of things in the entrepreneurial world, the first idea doesn't exactly work. So talk about that.
Yeah, we put a down payment on the yacht because we knew this was going to be such a big deal. And man, we walked into retail and they looked at it and just kind of went, it's okay. And we couldn't figure out why. Well,
crushing blow.
When you look at it in a shelf, one, it's 5 feet tall and most of their bays were 4 feet, so it already didn't fit.
Right.
Then it just looks like a stick with a rope on it, unless you've got this great video on the other side. Well, they don't want to sell a stick with a rope on it. They've got plenty of that.
Nobody wants to buy a stick with a rope on it.
Absolutely. The customers can't see what it's going to be. So retail was an epic fail right off the bat.
Yeah.
Even though we had
and also,
the
price point didn't quite line up.
I mean, we're a $50 or $60 dog toy. Most of the time, dog toys are very inexpensive. So retail didn't go quite how we hoped.
Yeah, but you know, like a true entrepreneur, like a true tenacious startup, you guys said, "Hey, it's okay. We got a no here. Yes. That's all right. We know where to take this thing." And so
we failed fast. Was that's the key. What we could do.
So that is absolutely the key. So talk about the distribution channels you're using now.
Sure.
And kind of broadly, obviously, this is an e-commerce show, so you're selling e-commerce. But what does your distribution channel look like?
Yeah, it's really interesting in the pet industry, especially small pet products, pet toys. They're almost all retail based, and that's where most of your money comes through. We're about 5% retail. Everything else is e-tail, whether that's through us drop shipping or through our own e-commerce, or we have some distributors that are just to e-tailers.
Yeah.
And that's really all we do. So all of our business has grown this way.
Interesting. And yeah, if you look at just commerce in general, retail in general, it's almost reversed, right? Where it's like $6 out of every 100 are spent online. You guys are kind of the reverse of that. So what do you attribute your success to? And this is always one of those questions that's maybe hard to pinpoint, and I know there's not any one answer, but people will look at a product like Tether Tug or look at you guys and say, I want to be the next one to do that.
Sure.
I've got this idea that I know is cool, that my parents tell me is cool, or my friends have told me is really cool. I've got this product idea. What do you think are some of the elements driving your success?
Sure. Having a great product helps a lot of that, but there's a lot of great products that never make it out.
Right.
So really one of the very first things was how much we talk to our customers. We committed early on to Facebook. That's where we got all of our pre-orders and everything else. Where that's where we started the conversation with them as well. And just started saying, hey, what do you want to see in this? Is this strong enough for your dog?
Right.
That was one of our really interesting tests, is we actually came out with just one size of a toy thinking it would work for every dog.
Yep.
Quickly learned that was not true. But our customers on Facebook loved it so much, they weren't angry at us. They just wanted us to fix it. And we started this dialogue with them of what do you want to see? How can we make this better for you? That's why we now have 5 different sizes of our toy.
That's fantastic.
Our customers brought that to us.
Fantastic.
And we were willing to have that conversation. We knew their dogs' names. We knew them personally.
Yeah.
It was really interesting on the early side. So that was a big part of it.
Yeah. So I just finished the book, Growth Hacker Marketing. By Ryan Holiday. Fantastic book. And obviously the term growth hacker is a few years old now, but the book is awesome. And he talks about in the book coming up with, minimum viable product. And that's not his original idea either, but this minimum viable product where we say, hey, this is going to be a really good product, a great product, something that people will talk about, but it may not be the finished thing.
Sure. We're
going to innovate. We're going to grow. We're going to iterate based on this product. And so you took that, you launched with it. And I love the fact that you immediately were engaging with the customer.
Absolutely. We said we're sorry more times at that beginning. It's like, we know, I'm sorry that it broke. We're hand making these literally in the back of our garage. So okay, let us fix it for you.
But if you think about that, I mean, how many products are there out there that the first time was like the ultimate success?
True.
You know, if you look at, I was hearing the story of Instagram, where Instagram started as this multi-dimensional, I don't remember the name of it, the name wasn't very compelling either, but it had this multi-dimensional social network, and all anybody ever used was the picture portion of it. And so they're like, well, what do? We can either try to force everything, or we can just focus on the picture. And that's what they did. Yeah. So great product. You listen to your customers.
Yeah.
What are some other things driving this?
I think a big part of it was the failing fast side of it too. If something wasn't working, we quickly pivoted, which pivot's another big word right now. But we did. We had to change direction quickly. We thought retail was going to be it.
Yeah.
We went for a little while, had some success. First year, I think we sold around $200,000, and we're like, okay, now
we're pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we were pretty happy. We said, you know what's really going to work because video's so good? We're going to go as seen on TV. We're going to infomercial this.
Yeah.
We'll sell thousands of these.
Yep.
Went through the whole
Which
process.
is a very logical. I would have thought of that. I would have thought that too. I love infomercials.
Yeah.
Where does that make
It
sense?
seemed like it was going to be, and it was going to be our way into retail because that's the great part of it. We did our test. We got everything. All we had to do was sell 200 units, and this company was going to fund everything for us. It was going to be, we sell that on our website, no problem.
Yeah.
We sold 4
No.
during our test. Complete, utter fail.
Wow.
Partly, there's probably a dozen different reasons why, but complete and utter failure.
That's really surprising.
And
so this was an infomercial.
Yeah, infomercial company.
Limited quantity or limited run or something.
Yep.
Still.
And just nothing out of it. So we failed fast, and that was the minute we said, okay, we're just going to put everything we can into online.
Yeah.
What can we push this way? And that's when we started scaling with Facebook, where Facebook became our new traffic source.
Yeah.
And
so
that's where we grew very quickly.
I love it. Love Facebook marketing. We engage in that quite a bit with our retail clients, and Facebook, to their credit, like with so many elements of their platform, they're innovating and improving and becoming more merchant friendly and retail friendly. But talk about your overall strategy with Facebook, and then let's dig into some of your campaigns, because I think they're fast. I think people will be blown away by what you're doing.
Sure.
But so you're doing the engagement with customers and listening, getting feedback. But in terms of marketing and growth, what are you doing in terms of targeting and types of ads that you're running, and just kind of walk through that evolution, if you would.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing, so I think I've tried everything that they offer. But as we've gone through that, there's been a couple that have been big moments for us. Carousel ads, when they introduced those, was huge because we could put multiple dogs playing with our toy. We didn't have to just pick the 30-pound dog and hope the big dogs understand it.
Right.
That was a turning point. You saw it. Just by turning that on, we instantly grew $3,000 or $4,000 that month.
Yeah.
With no other change with the same budget.
And there's an interesting element there, because we were talking about this before, where, and this applies to a lot of products, it's not just dog products, but you made the point that if someone who owns a large dog sees a small dog playing with the toy, they'll almost immediately assume, well, my dog will break it.
Can't use it.
My dog won't work.
Absolutely.
Or I know people that love dogs, but they only love certain types of dogs, and like some type of dog they don't like.
Sure.
And so
absolutely, we have to be very conscious of that when we're doing photos too. Pit bull is a great community, but it also is very polarizing.
Very polarizing.
And so we have to be careful with how we do that.
Yeah.
Same thing with big dog, small dog.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. The targeting side of what we can do on Facebook is just so rich for our dog owners. We had one ad that we ran over Christmas that was targeted specifically at Australian cattle dog owners and people that like the group, I love Australian cattle dogs. And we just killed it because we could get so granular. I showed them a video of a Australian cattle dog.
Perfect.
That's what Facebook's so great
market to message match
absolutely.
Is so important. And you said that type of dog, because they're bred to be workers and just so much stamina that they need the product.
Yeah. And when we talked to the owners, they said, this is the one problem we have is we can't burn their energy. How do we do this? Specifically with this dog, we can't get it gone. So help us.
Cool. So carousel ads.
Carousel.
Talk a little more about targeting. So you did the thing that was going after that specific breed of dog. What else have you done with targeting?
Yeah, the video ad has been big for us on targeting too, of really honing down past just being a dog lover. You know, there's a lot of people that love dogs that don't own dogs. Well, we want people that own dogs. So how did we go into finding those places where they are actually purchase intent behind it? So we started targeting dog food companies, other dog toy companies, where you would only like those companies if you're actively purchasing. That was a big scale for us too. We went from just targeting dog and dog lovers to that was an incremental 30-40% boost in sales just because of that change. So we constantly are tweaking and targeting. We run small little like ads to see how that targeting works, and then we scale it.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think you could probably almost compare that. You know, we do a lot in the SEM world, so a lot in the search world, and you can almost think about that like you would keywords, right? So you think this generic 2-word keyword like dog food is going to be killer, but sometimes it's not. You need organic dog food or organic this type of dog food or whatever, or yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
One of the really interesting things we have too is our ads are viral. So we'll put an ad out that's a video ad or a carousel ad. The video ad we put out over Christmas has 6,000 shares on our ad.
Wow.
So we get this huge organic reach just because people think it's cool to see this dog playing with it. So people are helping us spread it.
Yeah.
We have a very...
And that is an advantage, and I'm confident there will be people listening and saying, well, of course, Matt, you sell a dog product. You got cute little, dogs and babies. Like, what's more shareable than that? So you're selling a dog product. I'm selling, cleaning supplies.
Right.
How do I make this fun? But really, there are ways you can mess up dog products too. Like, just because your category is easier for people to share, you're still doing it the right way. Right. So what are some of the keys? And then obviously people will go check it out and look at tethertug.com or go to the Facebook page and like it and see what Matt's up to. But what are some of the elements you think about your videos that really make them work? Sure. Because it's not just as easy as saying, I've got a fun product, I'll put a cute dog in it, the video will go amazingly well. You still have to do it the right way. Absolutely. We've tried that. We said, we'll just throw any video out there and it works. Yeah. And we've fallen flat on our face quite a few times with that. There's a mix of identifying the right targeting with the right image on that video. And then there is an element of testing in enough different places to make sure you find the scale. And that's what we're probably really good at. We don't just throw it out. We'll test it in 5 places, see what's working, then scale that one. That's awesome. So are you testing? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I think it's the same thing. You just can't quite. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket on that because there's sometimes it just doesn't work. Yeah, and sometimes even you're a sharp marketer and you market for a lot of different companies. Sometimes, a lot of times, we're wrong. Like we think, hey, this is a brilliant marketing idea, and it's really not. And so then in terms of the video itself, so are you guys also testing like links to video and message in the video and different components? Are you testing that way? Yeah, we've done a little bit of that. We have some corporate shot videos that are voiceovered in this, and they don't work near as well. What we find is if I can get a user-generated video and just tag it with a logo or tag it with a small, hey, click here to go to this, so much better. That's awesome. People don't want to see our corporate stuff. That's why they're on social. They want to see something social. So the best video we have has 7,000 shares, and it was a user-generated. Sent it to us, an Australian cattle dog spinning in circles for 30 seconds. That's so awesome. And and then that's another thing that may run counterintuitive, that, hey, I'm the marketing director. I'm going to go find the best video production company, and we're going to have fades and special effects, and it's going to be music. And but in this case, just shepherd dog play. Absolutely. If I can show it in somebody's yard and somebody can identify with it better, that tends to do so much better for us than having this real fancy corporate. Love it. Love it. That's awesome. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about favorite tools that you're using. So obviously Facebook is a huge driver of growth, but what are some of your favorite tools that you're using right now? And let's dive into that a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. We just went through a new website refresh, went to WooCommerce from a Wix platform. So big upgrade for us by far. But one of the things we implemented when we did that was SumoMe. And I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that. Love it. There's so many little things inside of SumoMe that we use. Heat map is fantastic because I actually see where people are going and clicking. But one of my favorites is Content Reader. So Content Reader, you can actually see how far down people scroll on your page to know how compelling your content is. Well, we're in the dog business, so I want to make sure that I'm showing a video here or trying to drive them farther and farther down to get to where I want them to go. And that's been huge for us. That's interesting. Yeah, so that's Noah Kagan's company. Noah Kagan was, I think, employee number 30 at Facebook. And I believe that the legendary story is he got fired, but brilliant guy, and went on to do other things and then started SumoMe. We use SumoMe for one of our sites and love it. I mean, you can start for free, plugs in super fast. There's also the list builder. So how are you guys using list builder to grow the email list? We just have started, and you and I talked before this, it's hard for us because we sell a single SKU dog product with not much add-ons. So we never really we're never big on capturing email addresses because it's not a recurring product. This isn't going to do me any good. The product's not going to break. So what are you going to do? I guess you get a smaller dog or something. Maybe you want another. So we finally started venturing into the affiliate world where we now realize, hey, if we took these emails, we could actually then market back out to people. So now I need to find a way to capture them. We have 20,000 people going to our site. I bet I can capture some of this and turn it into money. So we use List Builder, and we actually use a exit intent pop-up. So a lot of people come to our site knowing they want to buy it, and we don't want to necessarily do anything to stop that. But we also, because we're the manufacturer, we have partners that sell on Amazon, all the biggest websites. So if we can keep them there, obviously our margins are better. So we added a list builder and a $5 off coupon that came on an exit intent. So talk about that, because I know a lot of people will know what exit intent means, but how is that pop triggered?
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically on desktop for sure, as they start to scroll up towards the page, whether they're going towards the X or towards the back button, that's when it comes up and says, hey, before you go, check this out. Here's a $5 off coupon. One thing we did on the back side of that too, we give them the $5 off offer, but when they actually get the coupon, we give them the $5 coupon. And then I also say, but if you also have a friend that wants one and want to spend $100, I'll give you $20 off.
Nice.
Well, our average selling price is $70 or on our website. So I was trying to raise that. Since we've implemented that, we've gone up $3 a unit.
Nice.
Or $3 on average selling price. So little things like that were little tweaks that we've tested.
And that's the type of thing where you always have to be pushing those areas. You know, if you go back to the 3 ways to grow a business that Jay Abraham always said back in the day, it was either, more new customers, increase the frequency of repurchase, or increase the average order amount. And that's pretty much it. I mean, variations of each, but that's pretty much it. And so if you could raise that average order value, it makes a big difference. And also this idea of sharing, you want to make it easy. You want to incentivize it. And you want to, so did you guys also make that easy where they could quickly email a link, email an offer?
Absolutely. They get an autoresponder immediately. Within that, they get a reminder. If they don't visit the site, they get another one the next day saying, hey, you still haven't done this, but take advantage of this offer. The coupon's going to expire. We're probably going to do one that's got a countdown on it for the final one to see that. But it's been huge. We're converting at between 10 and 15% on most of those when those emails go out. So it's been really good.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. So one of the things to think about, and I think a lesson to pull away from that, so you're using the pop with exit intent. So you decided, hey, people are coming here to buy potentially. Let's not just show this to everybody. So if they go and immediately click through and buy, then we just let them do that. I think a lot of people are a lot of e-commerce companies are starting to use the light boxes or pop-up or list builder or whatever tool they're using, but they're not thinking about when to show it. So many sites that I go to now land on the site, immediately triggers the pop-up. And in a lot of ways, it's like, whoa, hey, I just walked in the door. Like, let me look around for a second. And I think to use, have you ever read the book Why We Buy by Paco Underhill? No. Fantastic book. Everybody doesn't read Why We Buy, but he talks about this landing zone in a physical store. The book is about shopping in a physical brick and mortar store, but I think a lot of it applies to online. But he talks about this landing zone where when people walk in, they need a little bit of time to just take it in and realize, where am I, get my orientation. So if you have, that's why they say sometimes things that are on the door, people just blow right through it. It's open in, and then they want to get inside and look. And so I think that's
absolutely
kind of the equivalent.
As soon as they hit our site, we want to show them our video, and we want them to stay there and not have something pop up in front of that, because our video is what sells this. So, and if they can see the video, hit our buy now button, and I don't want to lose the margin. So I'm only going to do that if they're going to leave.
Makes a lot of sense. And that's something, I'm sure you've tested and looked at variations and things. And I think that's definitely what you should do. Any other thoughts on SumoMe and how you guys are using that? Heat maps, are you using that?
Yeah, we use heat maps.
How is that influencing what you guys are doing?
It's interesting on shifting things around. Do I need to add a buy button here? Do I need to, really blending it with Content Reader to say, okay, they're getting this far down. Can I put a, jump out here to see a product page, or here's a piece of content. That really mixing them together has been more valuable than anything.
So put something here maybe to influence the scroll, or if I know they're not going below that, then I put my call to action at that point, or whatever the case may be. Fascinating stuff. I love it. Let's talk about other channels that you're selling on, or other marketing tools that you're using. So we've got, it's 95% online. Facebook is a big driver. What else are you doing? What else do you have kind of in the pipeline, and what you're looking at doing next?
Yeah, this year's been really interesting. Once we switched to the new shopping cart, it kind of opened up a couple different options for us. We just started with product listing ads on Google Shopping. That's been really, really good so far. And we've scaled that every single month. It gets better and better and better. So that's been a nice one to see. Affiliate marketing is another one that really just started getting into, because we're in the dog space and there's so many dog bloggers. There's so many people that are putting content out for us. Well, how can we start to capture some of that? We're okay if we send them back to our site and give up a little bit, because our margins are so much higher than if that customer goes back out to Amazon or somewhere else for us. So that's been really big.
Yep, gotcha. So let's talk about that. So looking at, are you guys selling it all on Amazon, or is that all?
We actually did it all through a distributor. We initially did it on Amazon, and it's really easy to sell poorly on Amazon, and it's really hard to do it really, really well.
It is.
And so we had to say, am I going to concentrate on that or concentrate on our own e-commerce business? So I pushed here. We found distributors to handle the rest.
Makes a lot of sense. I think I commend you for making that decision. That's awesome. Let's talk about, I think this is always fascinating, and we, in our most recent episode, I had Zach Stambor on from Internet Retailer. We talked about the Hot 100 list, most innovative retail companies. I love finding retail companies that are just crushing it at something, doing something really well. But I also like to hear from others, like who are the e-commerce companies that you pay attention to?
Sure.
Who are those that you're watching and trying to emulate and learn from?
Yeah, there's a couple different ones in the pet space. The big player is Barkbox.
Barkbox,
yeah.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, their content is just killer.
Yeah.
Between Facebook and everything else, and we've partnered with them. They sell Tether Tug on the Bark
Really?
shop site,
Nice.
so we've done quite a bit with them. But I just love how they engage people to do that. They do a ton with affiliate. They're kind of in everywhere, and they seem to be doing it really well across the board. But their content is just so good.
Barkbox.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Barkbox and Barkpost is their blog portion that sends everybody in. So it's just a great model. Now, one that I really like, and it's not traditional e-commerce, but Blue Apron, the food site.
Yeah.
I love what they do. Almost omni-channel, because they're hitting you with direct mail after you sign up in the subscriber to do this. For just everything they do from their product photography, I think is beautiful, and how they try to entice you in. I really like kind of what they're doing there.
It's interesting they're using direct mail. I love that, and I got started in the offline marketing world, and I always liked direct mail when it's done correctly. I think that's one of those things that e-commerce companies forget.
Sure.
That if you've got your best customers, or those that are customers at least, an occasional mail piece, if it's done correctly, can be fantastic.
I'd never been to Blue Apron until, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and I signed up for the trial just to see it, and then I got the letter in the mail, like, hey, here's what you can do with this. It was really amazing how they coordinate everything together.
Yeah, I'll tell you someone who's really good at that, and I went through, which were probably 4 or 5 years, where every Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, birthday, I bought Sherry's berries for my wife, and also for my mother-in-law too, because I'm trying to score points there. But I would get reminders, and so I like, for a while I didn't, but then I started getting mail, reminders in the mail, and it was awesome. Like I think I probably would have stopped purchasing if I hadn't got that reminder. So I think that's something that a lot of people miss. So
the other big place that I look at, and it's not just one site, but it's a site called Ecommerce Fuel. That's a forum, and it's all 100K plus business owners. And so there's tons of different, I've never heard of most of those sites, but seeing what they're doing, how they're using all these different tools, and all this interaction between those is amazing.
Cool. Udarian, I'm sending you a bill after this podcast. So yeah, Andrew Udarian, who runs Ecommerce Fuel, awesome guy, good friend of the show. And he's done something pretty amazing. That community, that e-commerce fuel community, is really tight. From what I hear, people posting, you post a question, someone's going to answer it, share their recommendations. It's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
So e-commerce fuel, check it out.
Absolutely.
Awesome. What about favorite podcast, favorite books, other resources you'd recommend to people?
And podcasts are really one of the big ways that I started to scale our business back. We've been using other vendors, and I finally said, I think there's probably more I can do if I just would spend the time to try to figure it out. So Ecommerce Fuel is the first one that I really latched onto. Besides Llama Commerce.
Llama Commerce Show is the most influential. Changed your life.
Yeah,
right?
That's all I listen to.
It changed my life.
So it's great. There's a few others that I'll put second and third.
Thank you for saying that the right way. Yes.
Ecommerce Fuel has been huge, and I really enjoyed that, and listening to them, because it's not just a starting person that just threw up a Shopify site. They're learning how to scale like I am, and that's been really nice to see. There's a couple others. Perpetual Traffic is a big one for me.
Digital Marketer is the group behind that. Fantastic group. Yes.
And it's so practical. That's what I like about it. Everything I learned from there, I can take away and go immediately put into the business. So really, really like that. And then e-commerce influence. I've just started with it, but the first few, I did a whole series on email marketing, which is one of the things I'm really concentrating on this year. I just did a 3-part
and those guys
series
know
on
email
that.
marketing. We pull them in all the time, because I understand email marketing, and we could do that, but these guys, that's all they do is email marketing.
Absolutely.
So Austin Bronner, Chad Vanigs, good friends of mine, love those guys as well. So
those are my big three, besides nerding out on my fantasy football podcast at the same time, and trying to weave those in.
That's good as well. Man, I'm a podcast fan. We Jesse, the producer, and I talk podcasts quite a bit, but I've got like a 30-minute commute now, so that time is rich, valuable time if I listen to a podcast. I'm into audiobooks as well, so I pound out the Audible a lot. I think I've gone through maybe 4 books already this year listening on Audible, so it's good stuff. Fantastic. Well, Matt, as we wrap up, this has been amazing. Thank you. Love the story of Tether Tug. Love what you guys are doing. I love your approach to business and your marketing mind. Can you share what's next for Tether Tug? And you can be as vague or as specific as you want, but what's next for you guys?
Sure. Our biggest thing right now is to scale. We did well last year, but now we're to the point to grow. We have to scale multiple platforms at the same time. So we're looking to scale both our e-commerce side, but then also launch into international business. There's a huge market for that.
Makes sense.
There's a lot of learning curve there too.
Yep.
So working on that very heavily. I think you're really getting into retail. Those are kind of our two big focuses for the next year. I know it's a struggle for us, but if we come with a better plan now, we've got a little more traction. People are asking for us in retailers. How can we leverage that into more sales in the future?
And I love that too. So it didn't work initially. You pivoted, you focused on other areas. Now it makes sense to revisit it. Yeah. And so you're going back. And I think that's awesome. So fantastic. I know I already mentioned it once, but how can folks check out Tether Tug and the amazing aspects of this product?
Sure. Visit us online at tethertug.com and make sure to check out our Facebook page because that's where all the interaction with the community is.
That's where the magic happens.
Facebook.com/tethertug.
So check out, visit the site, get pixeled so you can watch Matt remarket you, and so you can take notes there.
Sorry about all the videos you're going to see.
But they're fun. They're cute. You'll love them. You'll have a good time. You'll show your friends. It'll be amazing. So Matt, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
You hit it out of the park. And for everybody else, let us know, like always, what do you want to see more of, less of? Would you like to sign a petition to get Kurt Theobald back on the show? Or would you like to send him hate mail? Either one is perfectly fine with me. I will endorse either one. So with that, until next time, stay classy.